everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of MOJO Rising, How to Make Cancer Suck Less. And this is a special episode to me because I am so fortunate and so grateful for all of the love and the support and the gifts that I got during my cancer journey. But and I say we because I am joined by one of my favorite human beings, Mrs. Jennie Smith. Hi, Jennie.
Hi, Julie.
And we really wanted to record this episode for all of the people out there who are caregivers to help you understand what you really most need on your cancer journey versus what is typically provided as a typical gift in the cancer journey. So I know both Jennie and I are grateful beyond measure for everyone who did anything for us, whether it was a card or stopping by or running an errand or a gift or flowers. So I don't want this to make anyone feel like we were ungrateful or not completely appreciative for the effort and time and energy and investment. But there were probably some ways you could have invested your dollars that would have supported me differently and been more beneficial to my journey that no one had ever explained. So the purpose of this podcast is to give you those tools so that everyone can make sure that the ways they're supporting people who are going through a major health crisis are really the most beneficial possible. Would you agree, Jennie?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, everybody that surrounds us, from our friends and our family, the very first question they have is like, what can I do for you? How can I help? And I think gifts are just a great way of showing that you love and, you love the person and you care and you're there to support and encourage them. So spending their money, in the right way that can, help healing would be awesome. And I think that's hard. People don't know what to do.
For sure. And most people, and I'll say that when I was first diagnosed, the very first person who I came into contact with was a minister who had colon cancer. And I think because she was a minister, I was able to hear this feedback a little easier, but she sat me down and she said kind of two things. She's like, Julie, there are many good things that happen with cancer despite having cancer. And one of the things that happens is people spend time with you. So never turn down the time because that is really important. And that was the first piece of advice. The second piece was, but if they're doing something that doesn't help you, speak up. Make sure that everything that's happening is actually in your best interest. And I think I really took that to heart. And for example, and one of the things in my journey that someone tried to do that was so amazing was set up a food train for me. But part of my game was to reduce inflammation in my body, and I have food allergies. So I'm very sensitive to my diet. And so immediately when they said we'd set out a food train, I literally broke out in hives from stress, thinking I'm going to have to throw out every single plate of food because there might be soy or gluten or sugar or this or something that I'm allergic to. And I can't take that risk because I don't want to have any inflammation. And so I immediately said, like, I am so grateful you set up a food train for me. But what I really need is for people to stop by because I live alone and I can't lift trash or unload the dishwasher after my surgery. So I really need people to just check in with me once a day to say, like, do you need any help? And to stop by for 10 or 15 minutes or to visit with me. That's what I need. And so I canceled the meal train and set this up. And it was the biggest, the time people spent with me was the biggest gift, I would say. Jennie, what about you? Would you say, like, what would you say overall was kind of the biggest gift people did for you?
Yeah, I think really, well, some of the obvious ones, just, like prayer for me was essential. I just had people rally around me and say, hey, I'm praying for you. And this is what I'm praying for. And that just gave me strength and hope. And people that just offered encouragement, and support. They're like, I'm here for you. I don't know what you need, but I'm here for you. Tell me what you need. And that taught me too, it's okay to ask for help. Right. So that was a lesson I learned. And I think I had a lot of friends that were just really honest and transparent with me. They were willing to talk about a diagnosis of cancer. Some people are scared by that word and they really don't know what to say. But I was really blessed and surrounded with people that said, hey, you know what? This really sucks. I'm so sorry you're going through this. But I'm here for you. I'm here for you however you need me. And, I had a friend, April, who, flew from Nashville and came and hung out with me for a week. And she helped me set up all my doctor's appointments. She helped me do some research. She hung out with me. We watched Netflix and just kind of chilled out and gave me some peace and, helped me with cleaning around the house. And then I had a neighbor who had a veggie garden of full organic vegetables. And every time she had a yield of something, she would just drop it on my front door porch. And so it was really just, I was surrounded by really wonderful people that had just great ideas. So it was awesome.
I love that. And I think one of the first things I wanted to hit on was this idea of asking for help. And for me, I am a traditional giver. I never really ask for help. And so in this moment where I couldn't do it all, I needed help. That was one of the first barriers I had to really face in my journey of like understanding how to direct the right help for what I really need. And so for me, texting people and saying, "Can you do this for me?" feels icky and I feel bad.
Yeah.
But so I set up a Facebook group where I could say, "Hey, I need someone to walk my dog during treatment, or I need this, or I need that." And then anyone who was available or who could volunteer. And for me, that was a way that I could ask for help that felt better to me, but I could still get what I needed. So I think that would be one of the things. Like, Jennie, did you find any ways, or were you okay with just texting someone or having people, or like, what was how did you actually give people what you needed for help?
Yeah, I think, that honest, I'm like you, I'm the giver and that's my love language. Right. And so I want to be there to help others. I really don't want to ask for help at that. I'm with you. It feels icky. But what I did learn was that people want to help and I think they don't know how to help. So when we ask specifically for things, like they're like, yes, I can do that. So I found it awesome. Right. And I did learn how to ask for help. And I think a lot of people just came to me and said, listen, I want to do something for you, but I don't know what to do. So please tell me what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started to make a list of the people who were my advocates and supporters, and really, that's one of the things for any patients listening to this podcast. I would just encourage you, like, don't forget the like random neighbor that stops by and says that. Make a list, because you may need someone to help you in a moment, and it may just be picking up your mail or something, super small, but makes a big impact for you. So don't think you only have to go to the couple of best friends you have, because you probably have lots of friends and neighbors that if you're willing to share that you have cancer, they'd be willing to step up and support you as well.
It's so true. It's so true.
Okay. So let's start to get into a little bit of the actual, if you want to physically give someone a gift. I laugh because I in the hospital, and I ended up having an emergency surgery, a right hemicolectomy. And so I think a lot of people were crazily scared that I was so vibrant and then had to have an emergency surgery. And so my hospital room, beautiful. One of the best gifts I got was someone took poster board and put tons of pictures. They went out to my community and put tons of pictures and brought that to the hospital. So that was probably the very best gift I got in the hospital. But then the flowers started to arrive, and one bouquet and two bouquets and three bouquets and 10 bouquets and 15 bouquets and 20 bouquets. And there was a point where I looked at my mother, and because it was during COVID, I could only have one person. I looked and I was like, I feel like I'm in a funeral. And she took a couple bouquets and immediately started to put them at the nurse's station in the people's rooms next to me, because it was to the point where you couldn't literally put anything else in the room because it was only bouquets of flowers. And I felt like people thought I was dying. So that was one of the triggers where I was like, okay, I may not send flowers to the hospital anymore. But if you're only getting one bouquet, the flowers might be really important. So did you have any experience with flowers, Jennie?
Yeah. So, I love flowers personally. And I've been diagnosed with cancer twice. So I am a thriver, a second time thriver. But the first time I did have to have surgery and I had a bilateral mastectomy. And when I was in the hospital, I did receive flowers, which were gorgeous. But I really was blessed by a couple other friends that had cancer prior, and they actually knew exactly what to gift me because they had had cancer before. And I was delivered some handmade mastectomy pillows that were beautiful, like beautiful, vibrant color fabric shaped like hearts that I could put under my armpits, basically to support my arms up so it didn't, get in the way of all this healing. And I had someone deliver like a seatbelt cover. So when I went home from the hospital, there was like a nice cushion pillow that went across so it wouldn't hurt me with a seatbelt. But I did receive a lot of flowers. And one thing I received too was adult coloring books.
I probably got 50 to 60 adult coloring of like F cancer and this and that. And I was, yes.
Yeah, I think I've got like maybe a dozen. And as beautiful as they were and as cool of an idea as that was, I was like, what am I going to do with a dozen adult coloring books? And if I'm truly honest, I think I color like maybe 2 pages because you're just like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful gift and I want to use it. But quite honestly, when you're healing or you're fighting cancer, there's other things that you're doing, right? And so maybe you're like reading a book that's encouraging. Like I was reading the book Radical Remission, right? And so I was just absorbed in this book. And so there were other things that I was doing. I didn't really take the time to color, as great as that was.
That is exactly my story as well. And I got so many beautiful pen sets and markers and all of this. And I was like seriously researching of how I can save my life. So like the idea of like me having hours upon hours to like sit there and do nothing definitely wasn't true. Like, so I think those were the two things I got. Like I would say like lasagna, flowers, and coloring books were the things I got the most of that I was like, whew, okay. But and at one point it made me like sad. And I literally have a picture I took with like 15 or 20 of the vases because I called it my graveyard of vases because I hated that all of these people sent me flowers and yet I spent my entire savings on the things I needed to do to save my life.
Yes.
Which made me think, wait a minute, we need to record this podcast so that people understand how to use their investment to help people heal versus just to soothe someone's soul. And sometimes soothing someone's soul is good, but that doesn't cost money.
That's right. That's right. I mean, there's so many things you can do that don't cost money, right? You can offer to give them a ride to chemo or sit with them during their infusion if that's allowed. Maybe you can come over and do a load of laundry or vacuum their living room or, whatever it is. There's lots of things you can do to offer support that's free. But if you are going to spend money, there are lots of productive ways to do that can actually help the person towards healing, not just soothing.
So what would you say when you think about, if you think about a couple of the things that really helped you heal besides the mastectomy pillow and the seatbelt cover, which I can just appreciate when you got that, you thought to yourself, I would have never thought I needed that or been able to plan for that, what were some of the things that you would say kind of big picture were super valuable in your healing journey?
So I actually had, actually you interviewed Lisa Ferrand, right? You guys had a podcast together. She's amazing. She started Warrior Caps. And so I was doing cold capping during chemo the first time. And she gifted me an electric blanket, which was awesome because when you are, chilling your fingers and chilling your feet so you don't get neuropathy. And of course, I was doing cold capping too. A heated blanket was an awesome gift because it just kept me warm and great. So that was such a great gift. And I had another friend even just give me a blanket that had just little words of encouragement on the blanket that said like hope and faith and joy. And every time I looked at that blanket, I was like, oh, that gives me, so much encouragement. So little gifts like that were great.
I think you just mentioned something interesting to me though. And I think I got 12 blankets, many handmade blankets, which was really awesome. One that even a friend of mine who works in the hospital system measured it so it could be the width of the chair. So that's like my official treatment blanket. So like I literally was wrapped in her love every time I was in a treatment and I felt I was wrapped in her love every single time. So out of everything, that was one of the things that really, really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I had someone else gave me like a basket, just a tiny little basket, but it had like a mantra bracelet that said you are strong enough. And then just some clean beauty products, right? Because I was going down this path of like, wow, there are so many toxins in my life. And so I started talking to friends about, clean beauty products and clean household products and things like that. And she made a little basket that had like, a quality moisturizer and a lip balm that was organic and things like that. I was like, oh, that was a really sweet gift. So, things like that can help.
Okay, that just opens up a whole nother conversation for me. Okay, so for those of you that are listening, let's spend a minute on what Jennie just said. Okay, so part of the bad side of cancer is 92% of cancer is due to what we eat, drink, think, and do. So unless you're one of the 8% that has a genetic marker for cancer, cancer formed because of something that was in our environment. And maybe that was in our environment when we were 3 or 5 or 30 or 40. It doesn't matter when. And there's probably lots of reasons why our body was fighting these toxins over and over. So, one of the things that likely someone going through cancer treatment needs is help really thinking about how they clean up their environment. And that could be their facial products or their beauty products or their cleaning products, bringing them all natural things that will make sure their immune system isn't fighting some chemical and instead is fighting the cancer. That's one of the gifts you can give that truly will keep on giving and healing that person.
100%, 100%. And that just opens up a huge door of opportunity as far as gifting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say like one of the things for you could easily bring someone is a bunch of cleaning supplies that are all natural, a bunch of beauty products that are all natural, things like that you could go, as you said, a produce basket that's all organic. Man, that would have, if someone showed up at my door with that, that would have been a sight for my sore eyes because I had a smoothie every single day, you know?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no such thing as not enough organic berries.
Yeah, that's exactly. I can use all the berries all the time, for sure. But I think you said something before when you mentioned capping. And I think this is also an interesting topic to help our listeners think about. And what you may not know is that most side effects can be outmaneuvered with planning. So, Jennie, can you explain why you chose to cap?
Yeah. So, this is an individual choice for every single person on their own cancer journey. So, by all means, if you choose not to cap, I completely respect that because it is number one, expensive, honestly, and number two, it's quite difficult and very uncomfortable. But cold capping is the process of freezing your head, basically the top of your head and your hair follicles, so you don't have hair loss during chemotherapy. So it's difficult, but it's awesome because it does work for most people. There are some exceptions to that, but I chose to cold cap because I have a teenage daughter. And when she found out that I was going to have chemotherapy, the thing that upset her the most was, Mom, you're going to lose your hair. And I thought, oh gosh, like I'm just going to rock a cool handkerchief and some big earrings and red lipstick. It'll be fine. But in her mind, as we started talking through why was hair loss such a big deal to her, it was something to her that made her visibly notice Mom was sick. And so I chose to cold cap. And I went through 25 chemotherapy infusions, which means I cold capped 6 hours a day, 25 times.
So that's something that, like, let's think about that. If one of the gifts that you could give someone that was really meaningful is help avoiding what they fear most in cancer. So, and this is part of the thing that I don't know that most people think this way, but this is my little industrial psychologist brain, where I went through and studied every single side effect that I could have from my conventional treatment approach and built a plan to remediate it. So, like Jennie, one of the things for my specific chemotherapy, I didn't have to worry about hair loss from chemo. I only had lost hair from stress. I had to worry about cold sensitivity, where from my chemotherapy, after you're finished, you can't really touch a counter or your car door or open a refrigerator. It's literally just too cold. So for me, I put my hands on frozen ice bottles. I bought icing like socks and put ice packs in there. I chewed ice chips the entire time, and I had zero ice sensitivity. So for me, the ice socks and the ice packs, that was so valuable to help me because I could walk away and drink cold drinks and do whatever I wanted after my chemo and have no issues. But thinking about how you can give someone something so they can outmaneuver side effects would be extremely valuable. And I know I took my experience in the way my brain works, and on the nonprofit we've started, MOJO Health, we built a strategy builder so anyone can go and pull their conventional treatment approach or the side effects and identify the supplements, the diet, the lifestyle, or the healers they could use to avoid that side effect. I'll give you another quick example. And neuropathy was the one I was most worried about
Me too.
because neuropathy doesn't typically go away. So most of the things you can avoid, you can kind of grin and bear, but they'll end at some point. But neuropathy and the nerve damage to your fingers and toes, that can be forever. So I was very into how can I make sure I don't have neuropathy? And really, I thought I need to walk every day, and who knows if that really works. But after neuropathy, people go to acupuncture.
Mhm.
So I thought, I'm going to start acupuncture before I start treatment. So that way I have that the whole time and I won't have any issues. I went to my herbalist, Oscar, and said, okay, Oscar, what can help after neuropathy? And he said, alpha-lipoic acid based on your chemotherapy. For others, if you're on Taxol, it's B6. So I just want to point that out. But it was alpha-lipoic acid. And so I immediately started taking alpha-lipoic acid. So my body didn't run out of the thing that could help neuropathy. It automatically had a surplus of it. So that's some of the ways that you can start to think about how you can outmaneuver side effects. But did you do anything else for neuropathy, Jennie?
Yeah, that was one of the things. So I was on Abraxane, and Abraxane is known to do that. And so I actually had a friend find me a place to purchase like the mitts you put, the frozen mitts you put on your hands, and then the ones you put on your feet. And so, she wasn't thinking of it as a gift. She was just helping to mitigate side effects, especially like neuropathy. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I found a place where you can get these. And so she just went and got them for me, which was great. So yeah, that was such a benefit. So if there is a way to mitigate side effects from any particular medication, chemotherapeutic agent, whatever it is, those are great gift ideas, right? I had a friend give me a gift card, just like a regular gift card. I think it was like a Visa. And she's like, I know you're going to have to buy some things, right? Like whether it's supplements or it's stuff, to mitigate the side effects of chemotherapy. And so just go use this where you need it. And that was such a great gift. I know we don't like to give money, right? Like we talk about this all the time. Like even as adults, we're like, I don't want to give. Like my son is graduating from high school this year, and I have friends asking, what does he want? I'm like, if I'm honest, he wants money like towards what he's going to need in college. And so I think as a cancer survivor and thriver, that I hate to say it, but most of the time, anything that can help me purchase the things that I know that I'm going to need, as your example, mitigating side effects, that's money well spent.
Let's just say this. It is not cheap to heal. It is not inexpensive. The right supplements can cost you easily $1,000 a month or more. Like it is not a small purchase or investment. And the wrong supplements don't do anything. So going to Walmart or Costco and saying, hey, I'm going to get this Centrum, dude, don't even waste my money. Don't even like, it's not even, I'm not even going to begin to pretend that that's exactly what my body needs because it's not. So I think that's some of the part of like, it's not sexy to buy someone vitamin D. But vitamin D and magnesium is truly what can really heal my body and help me thrive through the healing process. So I would like when I think about this, I'd much rather get someone vitamin C or vitamin D or magnesium than the chapsticks and the lotions that have the chemicals that maybe have toxins and things like that that you don't know or aren't really don't know if they have a brand preference or something like that. So I think supplements or gift cards to get supplements or money are a really, really good option.
Yeah, I actually just suggested to, and we share a friend in common, and she was just diagnosed, and our friend in common said, "What should I get her?" And I was like, you know what, Mojo has gift cards, and I said that. I mean, of course, I want to tell everybody about Mojo, but what a great idea, because I know that the supplementation and the strategy builder can help with that information. They can go use their Mojo gift card for whatever it is that they might need, and so I think when we individualize things, it gets a little complex, right? Because like what may be a good supplement for you, Julie, was not a good supplement for me, or vice versa. And so if they have a gift card, they can just literally go and purchase what they need, which was great.
That's exactly right. And that is thank you for mentioning the Mojo's gift card, but
It's awesome.
it is awesome. And it literally was, I made a list of all the problems of having of being a cancer patient when I finished. And I'm one by one trying to systemically answer that for everyone who follows in my wake. And coloring books and meat and lasagnas and flowers were one of the things I had on my list because I did spend my savings really doing what I needed to do to heal. And I would have loved the thousands of dollars that I threw away to be used towards something that could help me versus soothe me. So I do really, this was the gift cards and the all of this is really in service of that.
Right.
But
And I think what people could know too, if you're a caretaker, you're also educating, right? You're educating the patient, right? So, like, let's say I wasn't the research hound that I was. If my husband had said, hey, I found this, that if you take this supplement, like I did the strategy builder on this website called Mojo Health, and it said you might have this. And so I thought this might be a great idea for us to do to mitigate side effects. You're educating the patient at the same time supporting them on their healing journey. They may not know. And when you're diagnosed with cancer, listen, you don't have a lot of headspace to think about all the things, right? You are literally focused just on saving your life. So anybody who's there to support you and encourage you, providing that information and those opportunities is awesome. What a gift, that's a gift in itself.
you have the attention span of a gnat.
That's
Like
right.
that's what yeah. I'd be like, I might get bored doing a word search. Seriously, guys, but I'm looking for the word. I forget what I was doing. And yeah, it is real. So
It is. And chemo brain is a real thing too. So, even while I was going through chemotherapy, sometimes my brain just was not, functioning like it should. It was not firing on all cylinders for sure. So I think, just even helping people through that as well. And I actually did have a friend say, hey, there's this great supplement that you can use for brain health while you're going through chemotherapy. So it's, there's so much opportunity to gift. And it can be gifting. You could gift a great encouraging book, just a word of support. You can be willing to have a conversation with your friend about cancer, because a lot of people, like we talked about, can't. And so it's okay to be. The gift of transparency is an awesome gift, right? Just to say to your friend, hey, you know what, Julie, it sucks that you're having to go through this. I hate this for you, but I'm here for you. Like, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And so I think all of that is a gift.
okay, let's break that down. And I just was laughing at your statement about chemo brain because I was like, is this middle-aged menopause brain? Is this chemo brain or is this COVID brain? I'm not sure, but I don't remember. So one of these things needs to go. Um, but okay, let's talk about okay, if you have no money, let's talk about some of the things that you can do to invest your energy to help someone. So we've talked about praying. We've talked about talking or just holding space or spending time with someone. So those are easy ones. Even just going to the hospital or sitting during a treatment or playing a game can be amazing for someone.
Yeah.
One of the things someone offered for me, my yard guy offered to do my yard for free.
Oh, that's amazing.
Amazing. I mean, of course I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. But think about what if you could mow someone's yard or pick someone's weeds, because you can't do that in the middle of treatment. You just don't have that energy, especially in the summer. So think about if there's something like that that takes physical energy that you could just take on for someone. And that could be grocery shopping or laundry or yard work, something like that that they just can't take on. Just go do it. Don't even ask them. Just show up and pull their weeds. They're not going to be sad. I'll promise you that.
Yeah, walking. I had someone offer to walk our dog, which was great. I think we talk about in our house, we talk about the three T's. It's time, talent, and treasure. And not all of us have time, right? So you may not have time to offer to pull someone's weeds or walk their dog, but you may have the treasure or you may have a talent. So one of my friends said, listen, I work full time. I wish I could be there for you, but I really can't. However, here is a list of things on Netflix that you can watch while you're sitting on the couch if you don't feel good. And I had another friend build me a playlist on Spotify of like motivational songs that I could listen to while I was going through chemo. So these are ways where, like, if you do work full time, you don't have time to go pick their weeds, you don't have time to deliver groceries, but maybe you have 30 minutes before you go to bed to build a playlist on Spotify. That's something free, something special, and something personal.
I love that. So I love that so much because that's exactly right. It could easily be a quote or a song lyric or a single song that you heard on the radio that made you think of them. That is that little energy burst or love that you just need to, and sometimes in those low moments. So it doesn't have to be even an hour or 30 minutes or 20 minutes. It can be 2 minutes. Just that little bit of something really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But you brought up something of talent. And one of the things that someone used their talent for that I hadn't thought about that really meant so much is a friend of mine who I just adore made bracelets for a bunch of my friends that said, that said different things, but they were all blue. And like mine said, "I'm not alone," which is a lyric from a song I love. So that I would know even if I live alone or things like that, because I did go through a really hard breakup right when I found out I had cancer. My friends wanted me to know that I was loved and supported at any moment. And everyone else has said Team J on it. It literally was a year and a half later when my last friend's bracelet broke. So for a year and a half, friends were wearing these bracelets, sending me pictures of these bracelets in different places, in different spaces. And just the picture of the bracelet was so cool. But the fact that my friend handmade 30 or 40 of these bracelets and mailed them out to anyone who wanted them so they could be part of this team, man, that didn't cost a whole lot, but it meant everything.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful gift.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what are some of the things that you got to help you feel cozy? So we talked about some blankets. Did you get any pajamas or anything like that, or socks, or
Yeah, I did. I got some aloe-infused socks to wear. And it's so interesting because I got those my first battle with cancer. And I still use them to this day because one of the medications that I'm on actually can cause sloughing of the skin off your hands and feet. And so I still use those aloe-infused socks, and I love them. So that was such a great gift. The mastectomy pillows, believe it or not, kept those, still use those for all kinds of things like plane travel and all of that. So that was really, really wonderful. PJs, I did get some PJs, and I'll tell you what, people were very thoughtful because after I had a mastectomy, one of the things you can't do is lift your arms over your head. So I had people buy me button down pajamas, right? Which was brilliant. Someone else gave me a Victoria's Secret gift card because obviously I was going to be a different size after my surgery. And I thought that was a beautiful gift. So yeah, lots of really cozy ideas. Blankets were great. PJs were great. And obviously a gift card to purchase some new undergarments was awesome too.
really, really thoughtful. I love that. And like you, I had hand and foot issues were part of my chemotherapy side effects. So I also wore gloves and put lotion on every night and put lotion on my feet so I could preemptively avoid those side effects. So think about that, like beautiful socks. The socks I got that I love the most were "Dear Cancer, you picked the wrong bitch." And every treatment that I wear socks, I wear those. I wear them every single time. I wear them all anytime I need to power or to make sure cancer knows. I just absolutely love them. So inspirational socks absolutely are in the good list.
Love it. I love it.
I also got a bunch of gift cards. And for me, probably the gift cards that were most valuable were Instacart because they could deliver the groceries I needed, whatever I needed to cook, or the organic produce, or even Target. They'll deliver it directly to me. So that's one where I would say, listen, if a Visa gift card is great, a MOJO gift card to get supplements is of course amazing. But Instacart was a really valuable gift card, and actually Uber Eats. Uber Eats was harder for me because I was trying to be so controlled with my diet, but I was able to find a couple of things that I could get that could be delivered that I wouldn't have to do any work.
Oh.
Any other gift cards for you?
Yeah, again, I think it was all with good intention. People love to give food gift cards. So we did get several Chipotle gift cards. And it's not that I don't love Chipotle because I do love Chipotle, but I really don't eat out a lot. I'm like you, I pretty much eat as much fresh produce as I can. Instacart, what a great idea. I actually just wrote that down because people ask me all the time, what's a great gift? My friend just got diagnosed. That is a wonderful gift. I love that idea. Yeah. And I think, any gift card, honestly, like maybe to a department store so they could get their own pajamas.
Listen, a lot of people have to travel a long way to go to their treatment or to their doctors, and it gets expensive. So think about, are you in a healthcare dense city or not? And if someone has to travel for treatment, it could be a gift card for travel. It could be or a flight or for, like, I know you go for second opinions at distant places. So think about what they're going to do. And if there's a gas or an airline card that could be really valuable for them as well.
Yeah. And I don't want to dismiss the fact that I did go to Mexico for treatment, and there was no way our family could have afforded that out of pocket like we needed to. And so we did have a massive amount of support from our community, our friends, and our church, to help me get there. And that was all through funding.
Yeah. That's it. There are many funding platforms out there where you can go and ask for people to help support you. There's many ways to do this. There are times to be ashamed of asking for help. When you have cancer is not one. People are here, and when you think about the golden times or olden times, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, communities help people in need. We still have that deep need inside of us to help each other when you are down. So don't think for a second people won't be there for you. When you ask and communicate, and you've been a good person to people, people will be a good person to you. So
yeah. And I think, this is not intended to strike fear into the hearts of anyone, but cancer is a growing diagnosis. It's a chronic disease that's becoming a lot more prevalent, unfortunately. I think the numbers were 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer over the course of their lifetime. And so technically that affects all of us. So when it does come time to support each other, don't keep it a secret. Say, hey, I need help. And I think what we're going to find is that even just that gift of support, encouragement, help, whatever it is, it makes not only the giver feel good, the receiver feel good, it's probably going to come back to you tenfold. So you really can't outgive each other. And so being there for one another and sharing like, hey, I'm going through this tough time, I could really use some help. That actually helps the person who wants to help you. So it's okay. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about. So we mentioned that neither one of us really did much coloring, but were there anything that you did do to help with boredom or frustration or anything like that that you thought was valuable? Like one thing I used was Yahtzee, or I had a game called Quicks, or some dice game that you could play during a treatment that if I needed to take my mind off of what I'm there to do, it was a very fast diversion. Or I got conversation cubes. There were really interesting conversations so that if you couldn't come up with something to talk to someone about, you had something you could pull and be like, okay, tell me what's your favorite thing to do on a Tuesday? Or like, what do you like to do at Disneyland? Or like you could start to think about things that weren't cancer because you don't want your mind to be on cancer all the time. So can you think of anything like that that could be interesting for someone to think about?
Yeah, I think if there was ever a time that I was, really fatigued or, tired or didn't feel good, most of the time I have to be honest and tell you, like, I went straight to Netflix because your brain just cannot process a lot of information and you're fighting against not feeling good. And so with anything that was funny, anything that would make me laugh, anything that could distract me from not feeling good was great. And so I really think that list that I got from a friend on these are some really funny things for you to watch on Netflix was super beneficial. And it can be on Amazon Prime or Hulu or Peacock or whatever your streaming of choices, but just great comedy. I really enjoyed laughing, and laughing, ironically, is super, super healthy because it builds serotonin and dopamine, and those things actually help you fight pain and fatigue. So for me, that was really great. And the gift of music in general, that was really awesome. I enjoyed listening to the Spotify, the motivational songs that people had compiled a list for me. So that was really, really wonderful. And then on the days that I was feeling okay and my brain was clicking and churning, but I might need to relax on the couch, the gift of books. I really was gifted a lot of wonderful books. Hope for Cancer by Dr. Tony Jimenez was a book I received. Radical Remission, Radical Hope. Those were great, encouraging books. Anything that kind of educated me or inspired me and motivated me, those were great things. So I really enjoyed reading. That was another benefit.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I laughed, and I didn't watch as many comedies. I went straight for the superhero movies, and I'm not exactly a Marvel girl typically, but I needed to know like crazy things happen when you're down and out, and like you could do amazing things. And so like I was on Disney Channel, like not like nobody's business, watching every single movie I could, just being like, oh yeah, I'm Iron Man. Oh yeah, I can do this. So
I love that.
yeah. Okay. Now, something that helped me a lot was focusing on gratitude. And it's hard to find gratitude sometimes when you have cancer because it sucks. But every morning I did. And so for me, I had a gratitude jar, and every morning I would write what I'm grateful for. So I started my day with my brain operating with all those serotonin, all the right hormones. So I was starting my day from a healing perspective. Did you get anything that was really great for gratitude?
I did. Yeah, a very special friend gave me a devotional, and it was a daily devotional. And so at the top of the devotional was a scripture, and it was specific to cancer. It was a cancer devotional, and it was from, I can't remember the name of the woman it was written by, but she was also a cancer survivor. And so there was a scripture up top, like a motivational scripture, and then there was room below to write down what you're grateful for. And that scripture was kind of what inspired you to start thinking in that general direction. So I did that every day, every morning before picking up my phone, which was a terrible habit that I had prior to cancer that I don't do anymore. And so I would pick up that devotional journal, read that scripture, kind of meditate on what that meant to me. And then I would write down what I was grateful for underneath.
I love that. I think both of us were able to really harness joy as part of our journey. And I think probably the roots of joy are gratitude. And so I love that we both started our day with gratitude. I still do, because I think that is so central to how I want to live my life now in my post-cancer world.
That's right. I think we all know that at this point, our emotions affect us physiologically. So it's in our best interest, whether we're sick or not sick, to have positive reinforcement every single morning, because, life is not easy, right? But if you start your day off with something inspiring and motivational, or something that resonates with you, that's going to give you joy throughout the day, a reminder that you can go back to when that day gets tough, I think that's essential to our overall health in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else would you say is really valuable for people to think about from a gift, or that was really important to your perspective?
Mm. Oh my gosh. So through this journey, you learn a lot. And I think you and I kind of laugh. Sometimes we know more than we want to, right? But back to what Julie mentioned earlier, the study of epigenetics, right? So what we do, how we feel, all of these things affect us physically. And I think, any gift that supported me learning was great. And my life has changed because of it. So I had some friends, for example, help me purchase some EMF blockers or harmonizers for our home, and like my phone, my cell phone. I had someone gift me some wired earphones to avoid the Bluetooth radiation that you get from AirPods. And so I had some great gifts like that, some really insightful gifts. We received a grounding sheet that you can put on your bed. So there's some science on grounding. And so we use that. So we had some really interesting and exciting gifts that educated me. It was a great gift, and I got educated on some things. So anything I could do to detoxify my life, like we talked about, clean beauty products and household products and things like that.
That EMF thing, I just recorded the podcast with Dr. EMF, which will be coming soon, yesterday. And he mentioned how important it is specifically to help your body have a toxin-free sleep. That nighttime, as you've talked about in your home, you can't really control the EMFs when you're out in the world. They're everywhere. I mean, from the grocery store to the car. I mean, even our car has Wi-Fi now. It's everywhere. So, but at home, it is something that you can do. And especially at night, when the majority of your body healing activities happen, that those are the moments that it's really, really critical. So all the things you just mentioned, like the sheet and the harmonizers, the EMF blocking blanket, this is the time so that your body can really focus on healing in the evening hours, for sure.
Yeah, and you just reminded me, one gift that I received from a friend as well was a hydrogen water pitcher that I can not only have here at the house, and I use it every single day, but I can also travel with it. It just plugs in. You can put water, filtered water in it, and then I don't know what the right word is, but it basically makes hydrogen water for you to drink, which is super healthy. And so that was such a great gift.
That is awesome. And I haven't heard of that. And now I need one. So I was going to say, yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. But a couple of the things that I wanted to mention that really helped me as well were gifts that help me plan for the future. Because cancer is a chapter. And to use your words, an invitation to change. And so I needed help thinking about the future I wanted to create after cancer, because I'm not going back to the same world. You have to change. And so one of the gifts someone got me was lottery tickets. And it was so fun, a $5 gift. And I sat before I scratched those lottery tickets and thought, what would I do if I won $100,000? What would I do if I won $1,000,000? What is the vacation I want to go on? How would I? And when I started to think about post-cancer chapter and dreaming of that, like a lottery ticket, who cares? But the amount of entertainment and joy that brought me was huge. So think about tools or gifts that can help them plan for post-cancer as well.
Life after cancer. There is life after cancer, and it's different. It's totally different, right? It's a journey you've been on. You've learned a lot of lessons, and so you're changed for the better. Honestly, I think that's a great lottery tickets. That's awesome.
So just something totally different,
Yeah, love it, love it.
The one thing I do want to make sure we mention is, and it's harder for us to say this, but the reality is not only we needed support, but I'm pretty sure Justin needed support too.
Yeah.
And so as you're thinking about how you support cancer, it might be you actually invest your energy in the children of the person who has cancer, so that you go out and take them to a movie or take them go karting or do something with them that the parent just can't do because they don't feel well enough or they're tired, so they can have a really special day. Or it could be taking the caregiver out to lunch and letting them actually talk about how sad they are, because the caregiver has to have that stiff upper lip and be tough for the person who has cancer and all these things. And so your care may not be for cancer, but it may be for the person who's supporting cancer. So don't forget those people are so critical. So that maybe your love isn't going to cancer, but it's actually going to them. And that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. The caretakers take on a lot. My husband, Justin, included, and as well as my mom and my children. And we were really blessed with a lot of people that surrounded them, that gave them the space to kind of talk about things that maybe they didn't want to talk about with me, right? Because I was the patient. So I think that's a brilliant suggestion, is just being there for the people that are caretaking. Yeah.
There are also crucible moments in your journey where you have decisions to be made or where you're doing something different. And those are, like, I think in many ways, the moments of decision or change were where I had to have my confidence and my courage. And then you kind of just are walking the walk while you're doing that strategy. And then it's time for another change or decision, and you have to be really strong. And so I'll give you an example of, I knew I was chemotherapy resistant based on the genomic testing I did, but my oncologist didn't believe me. So I had to fail at chemo before I could move to immunotherapy. And that is a hard thing to think about. And so while I was failing at chemotherapy, it was hard for me to go sit in that chair. And so while most people probably aren't going to do this, I chose to use one of my strengths, which is throwing a theme party, and got dressed in costume and brought gifts for everyone there and cookies and the whole kit and caboodle. But the moment where, and I told my friends I was doing this, and actually people had even sent things for me to bring in for my luau, because I wanted to go to Hawaii after cancer. So I was throwing a luau. But when I woke up that morning and thought, I'm going to walk into this hospital in a costume and ask everyone if they want to get laid during chemotherapy, am I insane? I really had a moment where I thought, like, this is too nuts, Julie. Like, don't do it. Like, pull back. You don't have to do it. You have cancer. You can just go in normal clothes. You don't have to do this. And at that moment, my entire leadership team at my work had dressed up in luau gear for our leadership team call, and took a picture of the Zoom where everyone was there in all their luau gear, and sent it to me at like 8 or 9 in the morning that morning. I got it. I immediately bawled, put on all my luau stuff, and had the best party of my life. And the cool part is that picture gave me the inspiration I needed to then go to that treatment and give out those 60 gift bags. At the end of that treatment, a woman walked up to me and said, Julie, I intended to kill myself tonight, and I didn't, because I met your energy and I met you, and I know I can keep riding the wave, because I gave everyone a silver bracelet that said ride the wave. So it might seem silly, but that cascade of domino of energy, of them giving me the power to walk in my luau outfit, and me having the power to give out gift bags and all of this, which changed this woman's life, who still is in contact with me. Those are the sorts of crucible moments where just giving someone energy and strength and power can mean the world. That picture truly means $1,000 to me, you know? So don't think it's all money.
Yeah. Yeah. Joy is contagious. If anything can be contagious, joy is. And the great thing about that gift is it's totally refillable. So I think, that's essentially what you were doing, Julie, as you were spreading the joy. And I think I think we underestimate the power of joy. And obviously you changed that woman's life.
Yeah.
And I think it was a joy within you that she felt too.
But that is truly like, I was going to say, I know, well, actually, Jennie, do you have anything else that you want to share from a gift perspective that would be really valuable for people to think about?
Oh gosh. One gift that so I wanted to give back. So many people gave to me. So one gift that I recently gave that was more impactful than I even realized is I go to a functional medicine doctor here where I live, and it's expensive, right? Because health insurance doesn't cover it. So what I did was I actually donated to a fund that functional medicine doctor has, so the patients that come in that maybe need special treatment that they cannot afford, that funding can go towards their whatever treatment it is that they need. So I think that was such a great idea that they had, that then I paid it forward, right? And so I think we can affect people's lives by even, every dollar matters. So whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, $25, $50, whatever it is, that can seriously impact someone's life. So gifting to foundations or funds that maybe support the individual that you're trying to support. So for me, a lot of my friends knew I was into integrative approaches, and I needed some money for those additional therapies. So I think that was something is a great gift.
Absolutely huge. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I couldn't tell you the tens of thousands or probably hundreds of thousands I spent on health over the last 2 years, and insurance didn't cover very much. Even from the diagnostics. I mean, one of the diagnostics I got, I had many of you knows, the podcast I had with Dr. Jaffe, I had a 13-year struggle with chronic idiopathic urticaria, which means I had hives every day for 13 years. And that is like a super buffet for cancer of inflammation. So I had to get to the root of this. And I'd been to doctors and doctors and doctors to try and figure out what I could do to stop the hives. So when I saw Oscar, he did this test called an ELISA LRA. That ELISA LRA was a new style of inflammation testing where they could look to understand ex vivo, out in blood, exactly what was causing troubles. That test alone cost $1,300. That test alone unlocked a 13-year medical crisis, where I was on 8 Zyrtec a day, 3 pharmaceuticals a day, and got shots every 2 weeks. And all I needed was that one $1,300 assessment to understand what was really triggering my hives: chives, green grapes, tuna, things you would never expect were the causes of me having daily hives. So think about that as well, of don't be afraid to help someone gift the data or the diagnostics they need to help unlock another picture of their history, of their health history as well.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so we've given so many ideas. I think, our goal here was to help you think about some things that were really valuable. As we've mentioned, we are building tools through the nonprofit I've started, MOJO Health, to help you have all access to understand what should be part of your healing journey. So the strategy builder is there for you or your caregiver, anyone to know, listen, if you want to avoid a side effect or outmaneuver a side effect, what you can do from a supplement or diet or lifestyle or healer perspective. So it could be even that you go through the strategy builder, identify what types of healers they might need based on the chemotherapy they're on, and give them a gift card to a chiropractor or an acupuncturist or a reflexologist, or even just a Visa gift card with a recommendation or an appointment. So think about things like that you can do that are really helpful. We are truly at MOJO Health going to build and are in the final stages of QA. Actually, the rest of my day today will be spent QAing a process where someone can build a registry. That registry will be much like a baby or a wedding registry, because I wish, one of the wishes I had when I had cancer is that I would have had the opportunity to be very clear with people with what I need. So build a strategy, build a list, and then let people buy that bottle of vitamin D or a bottle of magnesium or or bottle of quercetin or whatever it happens to be that's really important in your healing journey. So I will say that Mojo Health is dedicated to helping cancer patients around the world identify what they need to heal, and then building the resources so we can help break up the financial responsibility of those healing outside of insurance to make this as affordable as possible. So that is something we're doing. But this podcast was not meant to be something that's self-promoting Mojo. It was meant so that you understood the resources that we're building to make that are available, and also give you lots of ideas, from gas cards to Instacart cards to button-up pajamas to pillows to handmade treasures or bracelets or gifts or playlists, so that you know what's powerful when someone's on a healing journey.
That's right. And the power of a gift is right. The goal is you're trying to bring joy into that person's life. So using all of those things is always a blessing.
If nothing else, walking up to them and giving them a truly meaningful hug, that's gift enough almost all the time.
Yeah.
So it is not money. It is not, spending tons of dollars or getting lots of people, but just invest your energy in letting them know you care. And that's what really matters. So, all right, Jennie, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today. Anything you would say to help wrap up this episode?
Oh no, I love this conversation, and I hate cancer. I hate it, and I think all of us want to know, if someone is going through that in our lives, what is something we can do. And I think this has been such a great conversation for people. And it's the number one asked question, right? Is, I want to help you. What can I do? So I hope we've given everybody some great ideas, free ideas, and then if you want to be able to financially support someone other than flowers and coloring books, I think we've given a lot of great ideas for people.
I'm proud of us, Jennie, for sure. I think we used our experience to really help others, which is exactly what I know both of us are so passionate about doing. So, all right, for all of you out there, we hope we drop some valuable knowledge bombs on how you can help people on a health journey, or what you can do to advocate for yourself during your health journey. We certainly hope that everyone out there will live long and lucky and are here to help support you. So if you have any questions or ideas, we will have some ideas. So certainly on YouTube, you can leave a comment. On Spotify, you can leave a comment. We want to know what else you've been given, or what else would have been helpful in your journey, because we're going to be adding tools and resources to the website on Mojo Health, so that you have different things or ideas that you can give for gifting. So thanks so much to all of our listeners. We're always so grateful. Thank you so much, and may you live long and lucky.